green.
Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. I thought we would naturally usher in the yearly close, usher in 2021. Of course, we are talking about UTC time. So let me just post this a few different places and we will jump in. Sorry, okay, there it is. All right, just give me a minute and then we will start kicking it off. Okay. All right, so all we're doing here, we're ushering in 2021 UTC time, which happens in 24 minutes. So we will be able to see the yearly close, the yearly open price. That way, when we measure the ROI of Bitcoin for say 2021, we'll be measuring it from say year to date, whatever it ends up being. Happy New Year, everyone. Let's see where Bitcoin takes us as we close out 2020 and usher in 2021. And we're also going to talk about a few other coins on the stream, mainly the top 5 that I care about. As you guys know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, ADA, and DOT. And actually, DOT has been on a pretty nice move recently, right? I was just looking at this trend here. It's been moving up pretty quickly. All the way down here, $5 a few days ago. Now it's pushing $10, so we'll keep an eye on that one. But I think the main thing to focus on immediately, of course, is Bitcoin as we do usher in the yearly close. So let's zoom out for a minute and see where we are. Actually, we should probably go to the BLX so we can actually see the entire structure. Let's go to the weekly time frame. Auto this out. All right, so here we are. Let's put on our where is it? Oh, here it is. So these are the regression bands. So of course, Bitcoin is doing fairly well right now. We are well outside of our reaccumulation band, and we are climbing higher. Currently, we are at around $29,000. And note that if we were to go to, say, the upper regression band, it would instantaneously, we know that it monotonically increases, but it would instantaneously correspond to now a Bitcoin price ranging from $54,000 to $80,000. So we'll see, we'll see if we make it there. I really don't think that it'll get to 100K in 2021. But you really never know. I mean, I didn't think we would get to 20K in 2020, and here we are. So we'll see where it takes us. If we put on our regression rainbow, let's just see where we are. We are getting close to the same level of overvaluation that we had in 2019, right? So in the summer of 2019, we came up to this band. We are almost back up to the top. To get to the top of it, it would correspond again to around a $32,000 Bitcoin. Okay, so this is our general accumulation rate region, right? That's our general accumulation region, just like it was the same accumulation band last cycle, right? So that was our accumulation band last cycle. And we are seeing a little bit more short-term volatility this cycle, right? To the upside and to the downside, and then back up to the upside. So we'll see if that continues. I think my one of my kids just woke up. But yeah, I mean, right now we're at $29,000, and we will usher in the yearly open. Can you guys hear my kid? Man, he's pissed. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone. Yeah, who said XRP? So yeah, what's everyone doing? Where's everyone coming from? Are we? I'm assuming we're based all around the world here on the stream. Is it 2021? I'm assuming it must be 2021 where some of you guys are already. Romania, Belgium, the United Kingdom. Florida, Hong Kong, Canada, London, Arizona, Germany, California, the Netherlands. A lot of UKs, a lot of Canadas, Italy, Greece. Yeah, 2021 in Greece already. Los Angeles. Yeah, people from all over. Nigeria. Estonia. Vietnam, Dublin, Scotland, Australia, Minnesota. People from all over. India, Poland. And here we are. Crypto has brought us all together to watch the yearly close of Bitcoin. Texas, another Greece, Philippines, Mexico, the Czech Republic, Mauritania, Earth, Russia, Sweden, Chile, wow, France, everywhere. So we'll see where we have about 19 more minutes. So we're about to put in our yearly close. So we might as well, if you look at, let's remove the drawings and switch this over to yearly candles. Okay, so now we're going to look at yearly candles. So these are our Bitcoin's yearly candles. So in fact, we are about to close this entire candle that we've spent the last 365 days forming. So I think it's a pretty big deal. You don't really close yearly candles that often. We'll meet back here next year to do the next one, but obviously it's not something that happens quite frequently. So far, it looks like we have. So this was a pretty nice green candle here. If we look at all of the candle bottoms, not wicks, but just candle bottoms to the top, that was 1,598%. That was 188%. This next one was 5,300%. And of course we had these drops as well, so that was negative 80%, negative 60%. Okay, and then this candle here, so this was 2015, this was a 40% move. 2016 was what, around 150% or so. 2017 was 1,300%, followed by 2018 with a 73% drop, right? And then we are, started back again, 91%, 333%. So that's where we currently are. For the year, as you measure it from the bottom of the yearly candle, we're not looking at wicks or anything like that, but 333%. Obviously, if you measure it from the bottom, which would be that wick in March we had, it's up 600 and something percent. Looks like we've slightly dropped below 29. I thought it was pretty cool to see DOT flip Litecoin. Pretty cool to see. We'll see if Cardano and Chainlink can, of course, pick up the slack and continue moving back up. Honestly, I would expect BCH to come. let's just put it in a nicer way. I would expect Cardano to move up, and I would expect Chainlink to move up. Litecoin, you know, I mean, it'll have a way of pumping itself, right? When Bitcoin is pumping, so Litecoin will have a way of pumping. But I mean, I do think there's a good chance that you know, Chainlink and Cardano can hopefully overtake some of these and get into maybe the top 5. And when we talk about the top 5, we're excluding stablecoins, okay? You know, Tether does not count in my opinion, right? Because they can just print more of it and instantly raise the market cap. So Tether doesn't count. Bitcoin's number 1, Ethereum's number 2, XRP's number 3, Polkadot is number 4, and Litecoin is number 5. Therefore, Cardano is number 7 and Chainlink is number 9. And then USD coin obviously doesn't count because it's a stable coin. And then funny enough, therefore in the top 10 you would also have wrapped Bitcoin, which is pretty interesting. All right, we'll see where we close the year. We have about 15 more minutes. If you guys like the content and want to join more streams, remember to subscribe to the channel. Let's go for 78,000 subscribers. Give the video a thumbs up and also click the bell icon as we usher in 2021. We'll see where the yearly candle starts us off. Yeah, so these are yearly candles. If we look at, say, 6-month candles, well, we're about to close one of those as well. We have it's a pretty interesting trend, right? You know, and this is one of the things, right? If you were only looking at 12-month candles, maybe it would be, you know, red, and then 1, 2, 3, red, 1, 2, 3, red, 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's possible. If you look at 6-month candles, right? So let's look at 6-month candles. Slightly different trend, right? Red, green, red, and then 4 greens in a row, right? So this is 2 years going up. 4 6-month candles going up, and then 3 down. So 4 up, 3 down, and then 5 up. Okay, so this one right here was 4, and then 3 down, and then 5 up. Then here we had 2 down, 1 up, and then 1 down, and then 2 up. So this one is obviously different, like, right, the structure of this market is different than last market. And it makes sense, right? I mean, it's not hard to imagine because the last market cycle was much more, you know, the structure of it was a lot more well-defined, right? Just a slow, gradual move up, right? Whereas this one has been all over the place, right? It's been down and then up and then down and then up, right? So when you go look at, say, 6-month candles, it's not quite as clear, right? I mean, you have down, up, and then it's starting to get a little more zigzaggy in here. So we'll see where this takes us. If we were to, say, print 5 greens in a row like we did during the last cycle, so far this will be just our 2nd in a row, because we had a red candle here, right, in 2019. If we printed, say, 5 in a row, then that would take us out till, you know, this one would be the next one. The 4th one would be July 2021, and then the 5th one would take us through the summer of 2022. That would be if we had, you know, just 5 6-month green candles in a row. And let's take a look at 3-month candles, because we're about to close that as well. We actually have three greens in a row, which is pretty impressive on 3-month candles. We've done more, though, before. We've had 5 in a row before. The last cycle had 5 in a row as well. If we had 5 in a row again here, then it would imply going up for 6 more months. Let's see where Bitcoin is. Okay, we're pushing 29K again. And of course, we'll keep an eye on the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation. I mean, you know, there's no free lunch, right? I don't know if Ethereum is going to make a major Q1 move or not, right? We've looked at historical trends, we've analyzed them to death, and we know that it would lead us to believe there's a good chance it will turn around. if we put on our 20-month and our 50-month moving average, we're still fairly encapsulated here. You know, as we showed before, in a bull market, the 20-month tends to hold as support, and in a bear market, we're fighting to get back above it. This is of the Ether Bitcoin valuation. You can see these 5 monthly candles in a row trying to break through, and ultimately we finally broke through and we were off to the races. And now we came back down and we're trying to hold it as support. So we're now trying to hold the 20-month moving average as support, which, as you guys know, is 0.0251. Of course, that will change as we put in the new monthly candle. So right now we're at 0.0254. Of course, we could just dump below it next month, which starts in 10 minutes. But I was at least hoping that we could finish out December above the 20-month moving average, just because historically we have bounced off of it, right? And we don't have a lot of data, of course, because Ethereum hasn't been around that long, but the one time we broke through it, which was here in July of 2018, this is the only time we had a monthly candle break through it. We don't count the wicks, we look at the closes. The only time the monthly close broke through it, it was the bad news bears, right? For a long time. Once we broke through it, the Ether Bitcoin valuation bled by 71% over 549 days. So again, not a ton of data to go off of. Just because we broke it here doesn't mean that if we break it again, we can't just quickly recover. But of course, it'd be better to hold it than not to hold it and continue with the similar type trend. So we'll see if as we usher in 2021, we'll see this spring back up and the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation gain back some of what it lost. I guess the one question is, do you guys think we're going to finish 2020 above 29K or below 29K? Who thinks we're going to be above 29K? Who thinks we're going to be below it? Because we're right on top of it right now, and we have about 8 more minutes. When we talk about next year, we'll start in 8 minutes. Now we're talking about UTC time. Pretty mixed opinions. We're about 30 bucks above it right now. Man, DOT is just on a rampage here. I mean, now it's flirting with 950. I mean, I guess another question, are we going to see a $10 DOT before the end of the year? I do own Polkadot, for the record, right? Just so, I mean, this is the fifth coin, my fifth primary coin: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, ADA, and DOT. So I would love to see this one do really well this market cycle. I've said before, right? It's generally a good idea to pick up a coin that's new in the space, and to let it ride for a while. And a lot of times, I mean, there's just there's none of these emotional price barriers that you have to get past. It's not like there's bag holders at $20 or anything. So it'll be interesting to see where DOT takes this. Now, with that said, I'm certainly not encouraging anyone to go buy it now after this pump. But of course, I would love to see it go much higher than it currently is. So obviously, it's a much riskier play now than it was for the last 4 months when we periodically made videos on it. But that's what the accumulation range is for, right? This is why we've been accumulating for the last 4 or 5 months, is because we were waiting for this type of a move to occur. Remember, as I've always said, wait for the pump to come to you. Don't chase the pump. So just my general thoughts there. Looks like we're still above 29K. We got 6 minutes to go. Let's see where ADA is. ADA is still at 18 cents. Ethereum is at 738. If you look at the 1 hour time frame on Ether, You know, a lot of times TA doesn't really work, in my opinion, right? It doesn't really work. In a bull market, it just seems like everyone's always drawing these ascending wedges, and they keep working, right? They just keep on working. But it's more or less just because everything's trending up. So we'll see if Ether can break out and really get above 750 and trend up to 800, 900, and hopefully a four-figure Ether. Someone says to play the buy Bitcoin audio. We can do that. This is my how do I find this? This is my 4-year-old providing non-financial advice.
Buy Bitcoin.
I don't know if you guys could hear that.
Buy Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin.
So we'll come back.
Buy Bitcoin.
We'll come back in a few years and see if his advice panned out or not. All right, we got 4 minutes. Yeah, I said I should make it my wife's ringtone when she's not looking, and that way when she just gets a call, it'll just all of a sudden be her 4-year-old telling her to buy Bitcoin. Four more minutes. We're still above 29K. Yeah, Ethereum still 737. Of course, if you measure Ethereum's ROI of 2020, I'm pretty sure it still beats Bitcoin's. It's just people suffering from recency bias, and that Bitcoin has been the mover at the end of the year, so everyone feels like Bitcoin has been a better performer. Ethereum is still outperformed. If you think about it, at the low, Ethereum was at like $80, like around $80 this year. Now it's almost 10x that. Ethereum's had a good year. Ethereum's had a really good year. Three more minutes, and then we'll see where the yearly close comes in. Guess we'll switch this to monthly. We can switch it to monthly. I mean, pretty impressive. Pretty impressive recently, right? If you look at, say, 2-month candles, straight up to the prior all-time high, and then we blasted through. If you go and look at 2-month candles, I mean, look at that, right? Straight up to this level. This was right at around 14K, which back then seemed like a pretty nice milestone, and then just blasting off from 14K. And then again, these are the yearly candles. So, all right, let's just go back to monthly candles. We have 2 more minutes before the yearly close, so we'll usher it in and see where 2021 will start us off for Bitcoin. Oh, we're cutting it close. Oh, we're at 29,001. 29K. Are we gonna fall below 29K right before we print it? We got about 1 more minute. Back above 29. I guess it will depend on the exchange as well, right? It'll depend on which exchange you use. Some exchanges might have it above 29, some might have it below 29, especially if it's flirting on either side of 29 as we go into 2021. it looks like on Coinbase, right now we're at 28,989. We're just below 29. 28,966. We're gonna hold it or not? Oh, 28,990. We came in at 28,990 was the yearly close there on Coinbase. All right, now I think we closed there at 28,990. That was our yearly close. So right here. All right, so that means you guys just witnessed. Actually, I just realized my my laptop is not plugged in. Oh well, it should be fine for a while longer. All right, so we closed it at 28,990, just below 29K. So then when we switch back to say yearly candles, that's where we are. Right? This is where we're starting. So we're starting it. We'll have our ROI will be measured. I mean, if you go by this exchange or whatever exchange, will be measured by about from 28,990 or so. And we've already printed a positive ROI for 2021 because we ended it at 28,990, and now we're at almost 29, almost $100 higher. So there we have it. Now we've officially entered Q1. So if you guys could let Ethereum know, someone can maybe send Ethereum the memo that Q1 has started and that it's time to get moving. Hopefully we see a good Q1 from Ethereum. I would anticipate Ethereum if the year is generally bullish, which I think most people think it is. That doesn't mean it will be, but I do think Ethereum, if the year is overall bullish, that it will have a better ROI than Bitcoin. But there's going to be a lot more volatility associated with it. So let's see where everything else is. So 8 is at 18 cents still. Link is at 11.27. Dot at 9.32. Litecoin is now at around 125 or so. So the market's doing pretty well right now overall. We'll see where Q1 takes us. So we're back above 29K. Of course, we could stand to push higher and still be at slightly level, levels of valuation that we saw in 2019. But here we are. Thank you guys for tuning in and bringing home the yearly close. Hopefully we'll remember this. We'll look back on this in fondly over the years. Well, I guess there wasn't as much volatility as I was hoping for, but and if we switch this over to say 2-month candles, so that's where we ultimately broke through. It was our 14K. So we've shot up to 29K. We'll see where this one takes us. I mean, if over the next 2 months we saw an increase like we just saw over the last 2 months, then it would take us pretty high. I mean, another 111%. That would take us over 60K if we were to see that type of move over the next 2 months. If we look at, say, 6-month candles, slightly different, right? So, yeah, I mean, I would like to pull it up on the BLX, but it won't show it until later. Anyways, you guys have any questions? Happy New Year, everyone. Obviously, it's not 2021 where everyone is. It's still not even 2021 where I am. But as far as Bitcoin is concerned, it is 2021 as we measure it typically as UTC time. I guess we should just stick it to monthly candles. 2021, January of 2021. We are now in 2021. You know, everyone is so bullish for 2021. Sometimes it worries me. I mean, what if everyone's wrong? um, so it's certainly a possibility. I don't mean to rain on anyone's parade, of course, but everyone, you know, a lot of people think that Bitcoin's going to go to 100K in 2021, and as I've said before, I'm not so sure. You know, I would love to be proven wrong, but I'm not so sure. We'll see if we make it to that level, but I would not be surprised in the very least if we don't. In fact, I would be more surprised if we made it to 100K in 2021. I would expect us to not make it, but if we do, I would certainly be surprised by that. You know, I mean, one thing too that we've talked about is the idea of, I mean, because there is so much momentum, this cycle could resemble 2 cycles ago, right, where we had that double peak. Again, I don't know how this market cycle will ultimately look, but just some food for thought, right? Some food for thought. It might not be a steady move up like that. Maybe it'll be like a peak and then back down and then another peak. Or maybe it'll be like a peak, back down, a peak, something like that, right? We just simply do not know what this market cycle will hold. We'll just have to, we'll live it out together. I mean, so far it's been very different from the last cycle because of this, you know, of that trend, right? Where it's sort of going up like that. I mean, I don't know if that's the trend that it'll be, but it certainly looks a lot different than it did this market cycle, right? Because this market cycle was more or less just straight down, sideways, and then a slower move up, and then a parabolic move up, right? And so far, that is not at all what this cycle looks like, not at all. So in contrast, you know, if we were to, it was down, right? Down, sideways, up, back down, back up, a slow move up, and then we've sort of gone parabolic here, right? We've sort of gone parabolic here. So completely different market structure than the last cycle. So, you know, I don't know if, you know, I don't know how this will continue. Maybe it'll continue to push up in the short term, come back down, do something like this. I don't know, right? But it should certainly be an interesting 2021 with everything going on. Looks like we're back below 29K. I mean, we're essentially flirting with the 29K level. One thing to consider is, you know, everyone's waiting for you know, this nebulous altcoin season that may or may not happen. But for some coins, right, it's already happening. I mean, like, you know, DOT is already at $9, and it was at $5 like 4 days ago. So it's pretty impressive right now. Obviously, there's a lot of other coins that are doing the same thing. We just don't have time to cover all of them. But one thing I want you to consider is that a lot of times when altcoin season does start, not all the time, right? Not all the time. Sometimes it comes after Bitcoin has had a definitive correction, right? So far, Bitcoin has not had a definitive correction since like 12K. It's just been moving up. It's basically just been moving up since 12K. This was our last major correction, and it was like a 20% correction. Really nothing to write home about. But we came down to 10K, I guess, and then it's just been up ever since. So there have been times in the past where altcoin season did not start until Bitcoin had a meaningful correction. So I feel like there's 2 ways that could catalyze an altcoin season. The first one would be, and we've seen it already happen somewhat, if Bitcoin starts to go sideways at any level, that could catalyze altcoin season. we've seen a few days here and there, right, where it starts to go sideways, and then you see the rest of the market wanting to move. You'll see Ethereum going up. We've already seen that over the last couple months. Whenever Bitcoin cools off at all, Ethereum starts to make a move, but then, as we've said before, at any point, at any time, Bitcoin can reclaim all bullishness, right? All bullishness back from the rest of the market. So the two ways that I think that altcoin season could theoretically start would be either a sideways movement, a prolonged sideways movement for Bitcoin, or a definitive correction that does not break the 20-week, right? And the 20-week is so far away at this point. The 20-week SMA now is at 15.5K. The 21-week EMA is at 17K. As long as if we have a correction that stays above that, and then we stabilize, I think that could also catalyze altcoin season. But in the short term, it could be scary, because in the short term, when Bitcoin corrects, a lot of altcoins will also correct with it, and that might be their final capitulation against Bitcoin before they take off, right? That could be the final capitulation before they take off. But again, we've shown before that Ethereum tends to move in Q1. There were some times it took it 30 days or so to really do much of anything against Bitcoin. So don't necessarily expect it to happen like today. Of course, it could happen today, but just remember that if Bitcoin corrects, let's say it corrects down to 23K, 24K, the rest of the market could correct with it, but a lot of times that can also catalyze those coins to then finally make moves against Bitcoin, right? So we'll see if that plays out. Those are the two main ways. I think that the main way that it wouldn't play out, the main way that we would not get an altcoin season in Q1 would be, the two main ways would be either Bitcoin continues just going up, right? And it goes to 30K, this week, and 35K the following week, and 40K the following, the week after that. And that's in that type of scenario, right? Altcoin season likely isn't going to start. Or if it has a catastrophic correction, right? A catastrophic correction where it comes all the way back down to 10K or something, right? If that were to happen, then, kiss altcoin season goodbye. So you guys know the different scenarios that could play out, right? If Bitcoin volatility remains high to the upside or the downside, no altcoin season more or less. If Bitcoin volatility calms down here or drops and goes, then I think we're in business. But again, we've already seen some coins make moves. Again, Polkadot is doing very well and could be printing a $10 dot, soon at this rate if this trend continues. Generally moving up in this channel, right? Again, just imaginary lines at the end of the day, but this is essentially where we're moving to. So if we get to the top again, that would be about a $9.70 dot, $9.70 dot. One thing to remember, right, is that if Bitcoin does correct, right, if it does, recognize it for the opportunity that it is, okay? Because you see how quickly things can change. Remember, I don't know if you guys watched the channel back then, but we said, in this region, that Bitcoin is the main coin you should accumulate when it's testing the 20-week and it has a low risk level. And that if we hold it, sentiment can change on a dime. And that's exactly what happened. So if we find ourselves testing the 20-week again in 2021, which I imagine we will test it at some point in 2021, if we don't test the 20-week in 2021, then that essentially means that everyone who owns Bitcoin should be up an amazing amount, probably life-changing wealth for a lot of people. But it's just not practical to never test it in 2021. But remember, whenever we do test it in 2021, it's not a big deal. We just want to make sure we hold the line to maintain the integrity of the bull market. What we showed, a few days ago, I think I might have it up. Yeah, So this is Bitcoin's Q1 ROI. So if you buy Bitcoin on January 1st, historically, what was the 90-day ROI as if you bought it January 1st? Since 2013 was a good year, 2011 was a good Q1, 2012 and basically every other year was either a loss or a slow move up, right? There were 2 years, 2017 and 2019. Had you bought January 1st, it would have been an 8% move up. Every year since 2014, other than 2017 and 2019, were slight losses. That doesn't necessarily mean it's like that big of a deal, right? I mean, Bitcoin closed the year at just shy of $29,000. If on March 31st, Bitcoin were at, say, 27,000 or 25,000 or 23,000, it's still a fairly bullish Bitcoin, right? That's still a fairly bullish Bitcoin, even if obviously the implication of that is that it's a Q1 loss. But again, I mean, it's really hard to say exactly what's going to happen. I mean, fundamentally, we know this year is a lot different. There has been a lot of money printing going on. If we pull up the money supply, right, as we've showed before, and switch this over to months, this is the money supply, M2. We were generally moving up at that rate right there. And then March came and everything changed. We were not supposed to have a money supply this high until 2023. So, I mean, there is a lot of money printing going on. So, I mean, again, we'll keep a close eye on what Bitcoin does here in 2021 and see it through to the end of the year and not necessarily get too far ahead of ourselves with the price or with the price predictions, I guess. Someone's pushing people out of the dollar. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that the dollar has been going down, right? I mean, that's just playing a momentum thing, which is pretty obvious, right? If it does continue down, then obviously that would likely be good for Bitcoin, right? This is the dollar, the U.S. dollar currency index. We're essentially getting close to the same level we were at the peak of Bitcoin in 2017, right? This is where we came down to. So if we were to get to that level, let's just go to the bottom of the candles, we would just need to go down, down to about 89. Right now we're at 89.9. It's not that far away from where we were here. And we know that, while generally speaking, when the dollar does poorly, the stock market does well, and Bitcoin does really well. Okay, if you take a measured move from the top here, DXY, the US dollar currency index, decreased 15% from over 2017, and during that same time, Bitcoin went up like 1,000%. Since March, DXY has come down 13%, and again, Bitcoin has gone up, like 500, 600%. So if the US dollar continues to underperform and go down in 2021, then we would expect Bitcoin to do quite well. However, if it, say, bounces off the same level it bounced off of in 2018 and does something like this before then maybe continuing the trend later, then that could obviously be a reason that Bitcoin could consolidate for a while or temporarily decrease. But what's crazy is if you zoom out here on the dollar trend, right? Maybe, I don't know, right? Maybe this is our first concave up, second one. Maybe this is just the beginning, and we're gonna head much lower. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's the cool thing now to say that the dollar is risky, right? Because of money printing, etc. That's not really that insightful. Right? Yeah, it's been going down. It's been going down for 9 months. Saying that it's likely to continue going down, and saying that it's not really that insightful. It's like, yeah, I mean, anyone could look at this chart and would speculate the same thing. The key thing is recognizing when is it going to turn around, right? That's the key thing. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you guys like the content and give the video a thumbs up. Let's get to 78,000 subscribers. Thoughts on DOT pumping? Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing. I mean, I do own DOT. I'm happy to see it going up. I still think, I mean, I think in terms of the grand scheme of the market cycle, DOT has a long way to go from here. I mean, yeah, it could correct in the short term, especially if Bitcoin corrects. And if it does, I probably would just pick more of it up. But I certainly did not buy DOT to sell it at $9. It's not why. I mean, I did not buy DOT to sell it here at $9. Yeah, we've talked about the weekly RSI, right? We've talked about it before. It's one of those things that, everyone wants to look at it, but it can remain overbought, right, for really long periods of time. And as you guys can see, it's more overbought now than any time during the last bull market on the weekly time frame, right? If we go to, say, the monthly time frame, which I guess we can do now that we've printed a new month and we can see where it stands up now. So let's go look at it. So this is the monthly. So here we are in January, so it's around 81 or so. You can see the monthly in the end of the bull market over here reached much higher. So again, it's a generally good indicator to generally know overbought or oversold. At the same time, do you really need this indicator to know that Bitcoin has been very bullish for a long time and that it hasn't really seen any major corrections and that it has to be overbought to some level? The tricky part is that it can stay overbought for a really long period of time. Yeah, I've talked about the uni. I do own a little bit of it, so we'll pull it up. So this is the Uniswap token. Yeah, I mean it was less than $4 like a couple days ago. Now it's at $5. This is another one I think could stand to do well this cycle. See where ADA's 18 cents still around there. Link is still holding on to $11. So at least the Ether Bitcoin valuation did. Oh, where's the new? I guess we can look at the new. Okay, so the 20-month Ether Bitcoin moving average has now dropped to 0.0248. So in order for us to hold that moving average, it's gone a little bit lower than where we were last month, as we said it would, right? Because if you go back 20 months, we were replacing this lower month. We were replacing a higher month with a lower month. So, but as we continue on throughout the next, like, say, 3 to 6 months, this moving average should start to bend back up and start moving back up. But right now, it has dropped down to 0.0248. No, we're not really looking at. I mean, I don't tend to look at the lower time frame charts as much in terms of like actual analysis that's useful. So someone says they bought Link at 210 and sold at 1913. That's pretty good, actually. I sold it. The highest sell I got was at 1850. So you beat me by about 63 cents. So I will tip my hat to you. So it's pretty quiet in the chat. I don't really have anything else. We just wanted to bring in the new year, usher in 2021. Someone says their thoughts on VeChain. I do think VeChain has a decent future ahead of it. If you look at its Ethereum valuation, it's pretty low down, as we've seen, right? So this is our VeChain Ether valuation. So these are the kind of the tops here. These are the bottoms. So yeah, I think we'll see where it goes for sure. This is one that I do have a couple videos on it, so it's one of what we will follow for the cycle. My long-term outlook on Polkadot. It's really hard to say, right? Because you look at Ethereum. I don't know if you guys were around crypto back in like 2015, but back then people were predicting, like when Ethereum was like $1, people were predicting $100 Ethereum, and people were calling them crazy, right? They're like, there's no way Ethereum's ever going to get to $100, like, and basically calling them moon boys, right? And then that you just don't know what you're talking about. And then Ethereum went to $1,400, and it bottomed around $100, right? Several years later, that was where it ended up bottoming. So it's really hard to put out a prediction, because there really isn't much data, and whatever number you could put out is just more or less made up. It's not based on anything reliable in any sense. If the entire market capitalization of crypto goes up to say 10 trillion, then yeah, DOT probably stands to gain a lot of ground. Aside from Bitcoin and Ethereum, which coin has the best long-term profile? Not a lot of coins have been around that long. Obviously, Litecoin has been around for a while. I'm not a big fan of Litecoin myself. But you can't deny that it tends to pump during bull markets, right? You simply cannot deny it. And if you look at, say, the Litecoin Bitcoin valuation, actually, let's switch it over to one that goes back further. So we should probably switch this over to weekly chart. Right, so this is the Litecoin Bitcoin valuation. Okay, and we've talked about this one before. So in terms of a long profile, you can see here, here it goes back to 2014, and it's basically been having peaks against this trend line. So generally, it bleeds against Bitcoin. Bitcoin is slowly gaining more and more ground on Litecoin every cycle. And every time, the Litecoin valuation against Bitcoin continues to drop. But with that said, you also have a general bottom region, right, all the way down here. So, it's to see it to potentially see it come back up, I think is more likely than not. I think it's more likely than not, and that it could come back up here and maybe touch that trend line again, but ultimately continue losing valuation against Bitcoin. Because ultimately, I do think that Bitcoin will continue to outperform Litecoin over the years. There will be some years where Litecoin probably has a better ROI than Bitcoin, just because when Bitcoin capitulates, Litecoin will capitulate more, and then when it recovers, Litecoin will be quicker to recover. But if I were looking at this chart and seeing, okay, well, the Litecoin Bitcoin valuation is right now, it's at 0.0042. If it were to come back up to, say, this macro downtrend line, maybe you're looking at like a 2 to 3x from against Bitcoin, right? So that would imply it, coming up to here. So maybe 160% against Bitcoin. I don't know. That's one that has longer term history. Again, I don't think that. I think Litecoin stands to do well, but I'm not a huge fan of Litecoin myself, because I think there's other projects with better risk-adjusted returns. I don't think, I mean, I know, like, because I did the math on it, and there are. Yeah, I mean, we already talked about dot. I think dot will do quite well. We probably just had dot up, and we replaced dot with that chart. Oops. A pretty bullish week so far for dot. Yeah, I think $1,000 Litecoin is possible this cycle. What, it made it up to like 385 last market cycle. I mean, yeah, 3x from there or so probably seems doable. Yeah, I do think Ethereum's here to stay, but I mean, there's a lot can change in 10 years. One of the things that's fun to do is to go to so here you can look at the historical snapshots, right? So, you can go back to say 2015. Let's go back to August of, here's August 17th of 2014. Look at all the coins up here that you wouldn't even recognize anymore, right? What do you guys think are the coins today that will be like unrecognizable to people entering the space in say 6 or 7 more years? So this was 2014. You look at this, NXT, BitShares, Peercoin, Namecoin, MadeSafeCoin. I mean, like, what is this? But some of them are still up there, right? Bitcoin, Litecoin, XRP, Dogecoin. Here's Dash, Monero, Stellar. These are coins that we know today pretty well. Someone says they're still holding MadeSafeCoin. I don't know if I believe that. I got to tell you, I don't know if I believe that. Actually, is it even still trading? MadeSafeCoin. It's still around, I guess, with a market cap of 146 million. It's actually gone up like 3x in the last few months. I don't know. We're getting too far there. Let's go forward another year. Let's go to 2015. Here's 2015. We had so Bitcoin, XRP, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Dash, Dogecoin, we recognize those. Banks, Bytecoin, BitShares, Peercoin, MadeSafeCoin again. Let's go a little bit later in 2015. Monacoin, Counterparty, Rubycoin. 2013 was interesting. Not nearly as many coins in 2013. As we said before, BBQ coin, right? Completely gone. And actually, I think I showed this before. I don't know exactly when it did it, but BBQ coin made it to like the top 11, which is insane. Back in 2013. Anyways, let's go to 2016. Actually, why don't we look at January 1st? That might make more sense. So here's January 1st of 2016, a $434 Bitcoin, a $3.51 Litecoin. You guys don't want to see this, right? I mean, this type of content is probably not safe to view. An Ethereum that was less than $1. Okay, let that sink in for a second. In 2016, which was not that long ago, right? 5 years ago, we had an Ethereum that was less than $1. And that was 5 years ago. And now let's jump forward. Let's look at 2017. Let's see how things changed from that year to 2017. Ethereum, $8. $8 in early 2017. So, and you guys know that it ended its bull run the next January at over $1,400. So you see how quickly the market can change. I remember distinctly back in 2018, people were posting screenshots of coin market cap a year before, and everyone was like kicking themselves for not buying more, because you look at this, $1,000 Bitcoin and $8 Ethereum, a less than 1 cent XRP, which, I mean, I don't really, I'm sure you have your thoughts on XRP, but we know that it went to $3, and here you could have gotten it for less than a penny. A $4.50 Litecoin, a $14 Monero. I mean, we know Monero is around 150 now, 160. Freaking MadeSafe coin is still up here for some reason. What is Made? Does anyone know what MadeSafe coin is? Like, I mean, like, I recognize it from back then, but I don't even know what it does. Like, I don't really know the purpose of it. I remember seeing it. Let's go to 2018. So, okay, take the snapshot in your head. $8 Ethereum and $1,000 Bitcoin, and then we'll go forward one more year. A $13,000 Bitcoin and a $772 Ether. Someone says it keeps the maid safe. And then here, I mean, it went to 772, but then Ethereum basically doubled over the next 2 weeks from here to like January 14th. It doubled up. Cardano was 72 cents here. I mean, it's 18 cents now. You can see how far it fell. Again, I think Cardano had no business at all being at $1.38 last cycle. I think it has business being there this cycle, but not last cycle. I mean, in a speculative sense. Monero, 358. This was all January 1st. All right, let's go forward another year. See how the times can quickly change to the downside, right? It's not all fun and games, because you get those years where we see this rapid expansion, and then you go forward a year, and now Ethereum's back to 140. Bitcoin is less than 4K. Okay, this was early 2019. $3,800, which also Bitcoin hit back in March of 2020. So about 9 months ago, Bitcoin hit this price, believe it or not. XRP was 36 cents, Ethereum 140. Now you're starting to see coins that we would, most people would recognize today, right? Most people would recognize, all of these. I'm not really seeing any here that I haven't seen before. And then we go forward another year. Let's go to 2020. Here we are. A $7,000 Bitcoin, a $130 Ether, 20 cent XRP, $42 Litecoin. Cardano was at 3 cents. We started talking about it in late 2019 on the channel. I mean, I started the channel in mid 2019, but we started talking about it when it was around 2 cents or so. And it's come a long way since then. Now it's at 18 cents. Link is at $11. And we were discussing Link at like what, $1 to $2 back in 2019. All right, and then let's go to, actually, where is Chainlink? Yeah, here's Chainlink. When we were talking about it back in the beginning of the year. Look at this. Everyone's been so bearish on Link recently. A year ago, it was $1.81. Even after the 60% dump, or that it took it down to $7 or $8. Even after that, Link is still up 10x a year ago, from a year ago. It's still up 10x, okay? What other coins are up 10x? Let's just take a quick look. So we're going to copy that, and we're going to go to, well, I guess we can just go to the main page, right? We don't even need to. So let's just take a quick look. All right, so where were we a year ago? Bitcoin was at 7,200. Obviously, Bitcoin is not at 72,000. It's at 28,000. Ethereum was at 130. Is it at $1,100 yet? No, it's not. XRP was at 20 cents. XRP is still at 20 cents or so. Bitcoin Cash, 204 a year ago. Here, Bitcoin Cash, 341. No 10x. Same thing, right? Litecoin is up 3x or so. Binance Coin's probably up like 3x. Cardano, 3 cents a year ago. Today, it's at 18 cents. So Cardano's done pretty well. It's up about 6x over the year. Link, 181. Today, 1116. Shift to decimal. I mean, it's up a significant amount, right? It went up to what, $20? It did a 10x in 2020. So, you know, now I mean, obviously it's come back down some, but I mean, if you take it from the bottom, Link went from 181, so a 10x would be $18.10, which, I mean, my sell was at $18.50, but a 10x would be $18. Link is the only main one in here that saw that, right? No other coin in the top that I'm looking at, maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, none of these coins saw a 10x. None of them. Not in 2020. At least out of the ones we're looking at right here. I mean, the point with Link is that, you know, I know a lot of people are bearish on it right now, but you have to remember, it's the only coin, like, we've covered Link for about a year and a half now, a little over maybe a year and 3 months or so. It's the only coin that saw a 10x in 2020 out of the top ones. Yeah, there's other coins. If you want to scroll down, there's other coins that have done really well. You know, let's scroll down here. I mean, Celsius has gone up like 100x this year. So, and now it's still only number 25. I know, I mean, Theta has done pretty well, right? Where was that at? So this one has done pretty well. So from the March bottom, it was at what, 5 cents? Now it's at $1.50. Pretty good, right? I mean, that's more than 10x. But the point again is that most of these coins did not see these types of moves in 2020, but Link did, and it was already a fairly top coin at the time. Happy New Year, everyone. If you're recently joining, we just ushered in the yearly close for Bitcoin on Coinbase anyways. It closed at 28.9. I think it was 28,990. All right, well, I don't really have anything else. Just wanted to usher in the new year. We've been going over an hour now. I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up here. We'll see what Q1 brings us. You know, Ethereum is at 734. ADA is at 18 cents. DOT 920. Link 1121. We'll look back and see, okay, did Q1, Q2, Q3, or Q4 bring us an altcoin season in 2021? And if it did, How crazy did it get? So remember to buckle up no matter what happens, whether it's up or down. Be ready. And if we do go down, on the chance that we do go down, remember that you can always keep accumulating, right? Because everyone now, when the market's up, everyone says, okay, is it too late to buy? A lot of times they might not want to buy it though when it's down there in the bear market. So we'll see where things take us. One thing I think is interesting, if you look at the price movement and the date from Link's tops, so this one was from top to top was about 200% over 539 days. The next one was what? 348% over 414 days. So it's going up more peak to peak over shorter periods of time. If we do the same thing, let's say we do it in say 300 days, and we go up say 400% or so to keep the trend intact, that would actually put it at around $100 link by the summer of 2021. If we were to continue to see this shorten here, right? Because these peak to peak, that peak to peak was short or longer than this one. And also the ROI from this peak to this peak was less than the ROI from that peak to that peak. So if it's the same type of thing, right, and it does something like that, then maybe we'll see the same thing happen again. I don't know. We'll see. Then we'll say 1, 2, 3. Happy New Year, everyone. Remember to subscribe. Let's get to 78,000 subscribers. I think we'll go ahead and sign off. If you guys do want to join the public Telegram channel, we have one. We have over 11,000 people. So if you're looking for a community to join for the market cycle and want a place to talk crypto, we try to keep it fairly well moderated in there. You guys can join it. I'll put it in the comments. From here, sorry, let me see if there's any last questions. This is what a price. Okay, what are your thoughts? I don't have any thoughts on injected protocol. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more competition for Link, but that doesn't mean that it can't continue higher. A few months ago, you said 20K Bitcoin till the end would not be sustainable. What are your thoughts now? Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't think it would get this high this quickly. We have said that, short-term bubbles are possible. I don't know how high it's going to go, right? I don't. It's possible we are already at a sustainable 20K, right? It is possible. We'll just have to see what happens, right? I mean, the 20-week moving average now is at 15.5K. So personally, I would like to see Bitcoin hold the 20-week moving average when the 20-week moving average is above 20K. If it can hold the 20-week above 20K, then this would help confirm to me that it's a sustainable 20K. Right now, the 20-week moving average is still at 15.5K, so that's what I would want to see hold in the event of a drop. Sorry, hopefully that answers your question. All right, I think I got to most of the questions, so I think we'll wrap it up there. Remember, we do have the premium list. If you guys want to check that out, we'll have the holiday sale go on for 3 more days. It'll end on January 3rd. You get access to the weekly reports, the weekly videos, the alerts channel where I post a ton of alerts, the private Telegram chat room, the risk dashboard, the trading view indicators. We're going to be doing live streams for the premium list in 2021. Maybe we'll start that soon now that it is 2021, Bitcoin time, UTC time. Anyways, thank you guys for joining. Make sure you subscribe. We will see you next time. Bye.